what's safe to put in as a boundary and what's not, and what's behind the reasoning as to why we need to put this boundary in. So with boundaries, we have to work out what is a good boundary to put in place. And, actually working out what is my responsibility, but what's their responsibility. So a statement can come into play here when our loved one is asking for us to assist them with something that is outside our boundaries. So the statement could be, I hear you've got a problem. What are you going to do about it? So it's shifting that responsibility for your loved one. And it's also stating some ground rules for your loved one in that, the rules have changed and are changing. And the loved one will start getting the message that they have to take some responsibility. So it comes back to the consequences of their actions. Now, as far as putting a lot of these things in place, I tend to look at 4 points. One of them being the introduction of boundaries. So it's having a good look at, what sort of things would start normalising things in the home and for you. So that's how you can start working on what boundaries to put in place. And the second point really is about the clarity. Is it very clear what you're putting in place? And there's a necessity to have consequences if these things aren't followed through. And the third thing is getting back to the picket fence again, protection. And the protection is of you. You'll always protect your loved ones, but sometimes you're not able to protect yourself as well. So it's building a bit of a picket fence around you, but having a gate there available to invite people to come through. And trying to get the message across to your family member, this is not my problem, it's your problem. So once again, responsibility of actions equals consequences. So whilst you're putting all of these things in place, it may be a good idea to start adopting the work of being a star. I suppose you're wondering how you can become a star, but being a star is putting in a bit more work in that S stands for stop. So when you're being asked about something in regards to your loved one's request, for instance, like, Mum, I need money straight away, I'm going to get kicked out of my flat if I don't pay straight away, perhaps you could take a bit of a breather and be kind to yourself and stop. So what is a good breather for you? Maybe you could be suggesting to your loved one you could phone them back in about 10 minutes. So you've got a bit of time to start thinking about it rather than working on the rescuing and my child's in trouble, I need to rescue straight away. And the next thing is having a think. So by stopping, you're allowing yourself to have a think. And then the next thing is to act. So what is it that you're going to act about? And then the last thing is review. So you're stopping, number 1, you're thinking, number 2, and number 3, you're acting, and then number 4, you're reviewing. And what I'd like to say is that you can phone the helpline on 1300 660 068. And on the helpline, there are people waiting to take your call who are trained to assist you through some of this turmoil. And what they will provide for you is support, information, referral, and also they can give you some information in regards to our education course, which part of it is covered with boundaries and personal responsibility. So I'd like to congratulate you on becoming a star, and I'd like to welcome you to the Star Club. Thanks.
Now that I can look back through my journey of addiction, I feel there are a few things that I know for sure. You can't do anything for us at all unless we are willing to realise and accept the problem we have and accept the help we need to recover. Please don't ever blame yourselves for the things we do. We carry enough blame and guilt for the whole family, the extended family, the whole world. There's nothing you could feel that we haven't already felt or belting ourselves up about, because that's what we're very, very good at. So don't blame yourselves for the choices we make. You can relapse. It is a disease like anything else. If you had cancer and went into remission, people are happy for you. If the cancer returns, people don't attack you and ask why you didn't beat it the first time. Addiction is exactly the same. Sometimes it takes time and time again for us to beat it. And last but not least, hope. There is always hope. As long as there's hope, we have a chance of recovery. All we need is that tiny spark of hope from someone, somewhere, and we can make it. There is another side of blame that friends and family often use. They use us as the scapegoat for what's wrong in their own life. They blame us for their own problems because we're always causing dramas and we've always got things going on. But that's of no help either. There's no point blaming us, there's no point blaming yourselves. Blame is of no help. If we all stick together, we can all make it. I did, so there's always hope for everyone.
I've been a drug addict for many years, and I had a family that didn't take drugs, and I had a partner that didn't take drugs and didn't have the problem that I had. And to give you the perspective of someone that has a problem with addiction, there really is nothing that anyone could do for me, like seriously nothing. And when I used to look at my partner that would try various methods to try and get me to stop taking drugs, I remember looking at him and it was like looking out of a train, and I was on the train and he was just passing scenery, and I would be in my head, I would say and do whatever I had to do in order to get drugs. That was my prime motive. And so sometimes I would tell the truth, sometimes I would lie, but my motive was always, in the end, to get drugs. And there really wasn't anything he could do. And so I was like on the train, and I was going down this road, I was going down the tracks, and my family, my partner, my children, my work colleagues, my friends were basically like scenery that I would pass as I was heading down this track. And it was like I was a runaway train. And if someone got on the tracks, I would just roll right over them. There was really no way of stopping. I was out of control. I was like a runaway train. And for them to, stand in front of me, it doesn't do anything. It's just like I have to go over them because there is no other way I can stop going over them because I'm out of control. And really, they could stand by and hold up signs maybe, but really I was on a track that I was on, and it was really up to me to, stop putting coal into the fire to keep it going. And really there was nothing that they could do. They could just watch and pray and hope that I would come to the end.
Hi, welcome to the Family Drug Help Programme. My name's Tracy, and in this segment we're going to be looking at positive psychology. I'm going to give you 2 exercises that actively encourage you to not only think differently, but act differently in a way that's more beneficial to you and your family. So we're going to look at what it means to have a well-balanced life and how we can have a more positive outlook by using an exercise called gratitude. Okay, let's look at how we get a well-balanced life. If we look at this box here, we've got a grid, 9 equal size boxes, all depicting an area in our lives that we need to give focus and attention to. I'm going to talk about each one and give examples to help you. It's tough, this exercise. Every time I do it, I think, oh, I haven't done this one, or I haven't focused on this one. So it takes practice. We'll start with the first one, which is work. Now, I assume because you're watching this that the relationship between your drug-using loved one is chaotic, you're overwhelmed by it, it's tarnished every other area in your life.